What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And if you are having a great day, do me a favor and press that like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam at all. Literally no joke or scams ever. You will become the Queen of England and then have to fight in a world war where you're gonna have to ride a steed into battle where you will be struck down by the king of Norway, Benji. Yeah, that's right. So press the like button if you don't want to basically cause World War III. I'm sorry. Real talk, what's going on, guys? It is your boy Scrub here on a beautiful Saturday. Hope you guys are having a good day. As you can tell from the timestamp in the corner of this video, it's gonna be a pretty long one, but I know that you guys love douchey rich kid stories more than fat kids love chocolate cake. It's just something that you guys really vibe with. I don't know what it is, but me talking about spoiled kids bangs like, I don't know, a backdoor and a hurricane, and I have to provide content for you guys. That's my job, especially during these trying times. I'm single-handedly fighting the coronavirus with my story times. This story takes place in a summer camp when I was like 10 or 11 years old, you know. My parents had to work a lot during the summer, and whenever my grandparents didn't want to watch me because I was a handful, they would send me to like this summer camp thing at a rec center that was pretty chill. It was pretty fun. There was never too much drama there, of course. It was basically just a bunch of kids hanging out all day during the summer, and it was better than being at, you know, a grandma's house, like watching old TV shows all day, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I used to stay with my grandmas during the summer, there would be some pretty weird stuff that would go on. Like, they would force me to help them act out like these 60 mystery shows. I was just not a fan. So, summer camp was pretty chill with me. I vibed with it. It was much better to hang out with kids all day because when you're a kid, you just get along better with kids. And the one thing that I will say about a summer camp at a rec center in a major city is there's a wide variety of kids that pull up, you know? I'm not really sure if, like, everybody that went to this rec center has good mental health histories or like hasn't gone insane ever since I was 10 or 11 because it's the last time I saw them, but there were definitely some interesting people that would make every day entertaining. For example, there was this kid that could fart and burp on command, and he would burp the alphabet while farting at the same time. And I know what some of you are thinking, oh my god, that's gross, that's ridiculous. And you might think that, but 11-year-old me thought it was the funniest thing on the planet, and I basically thought he had a superpower, you know? Like, it was up there with Spider-Man for me. Sure, you can have super strength and swing on webs, or you could be able to fart and burp on command at the same time. That's pretty impressive. There were some other characters, you know, it was like some kids that would always fight with the counselors who were also just 16-year-old kids. It was kind of a train wreck. It was really 16-year-old kids watching 10-year-old kids all day, but like one 16-year-old for every, you know, 12 10-year-olds. So they're obviously outnumbered, and the amount of people that were just weird in this camp that would do weird stuff was entertaining to say the least. So I liked being around it. Everything's pretty normal for the first couple of weeks of summer, and then one day we're like outside in this grassy area, and by the grassy area is where new kids would pull up and get dropped off, or kids would get dropped off, and I was there pretty early because my parents had to work, so it's maybe like 8 in the morning, and most cars that would pull up and drop kids off at this like rec center summer camp, you know, or like Fords or Toyotas, like normal cars, definitely not something you see. And as I'm sitting here, I see a Rolls Royce park in the parking lot, like right by the drop-off center. And I didn't know what a Rolls Royce was at the time. 10-year-old me was not like, oh my god, that's a Phantom. But you could just tell it was a nice car. You know, it just has this aura about it that lets you know that whoever is driving it is important. I'm pretty sure whoever was driving the car had a monocle, like that's how bougie it was, and I've never understood monocles, okay? Why would you pay more money for half of glasses? Like, monocles should really be half expensive as glasses, so it's weird to me that rich people would want to flex the fact that they only have glasses on one of their eyes. But whatever, this Rolls Royce pops out, and out hops this kid that just walks with the swagger of somebody that's fired 87 people. Like, this dude definitely goes to his dad's company's barbecues and just fires people that make crappy potato salad. Like, he just walks with attitude. And so he has this dude in a suit who gets out of the car with him, walks him up, and like checks him in. And the entire time this kid is just snootily looking around at everybody else, us, you know, in the field playing and whatever. And he's like got this snooty look of somebody that just thinks that they're better than you. You know, when somebody gives you a look and it's just dismissive and rude and you can instantly tell that they think that you're a moron? That's the look that this kid is giving everybody. Anyways, this kid gets all checked in and he walks over and he like reaches out his hand to shake our hand. Keep in mind, we're like 10 or 11, you know? So everybody kind of looks at him weird and he says, well, I'm not going to say his real name just because I don't know. I just always change the names in these stories. I'm going to name him Reginald because that just sounds like the type of kid that eats $700 mustard and like wants to punch you in the face anytime anyone mentions anything that even sounds vaguely poor. Like, the dollar store, and he just has an involuntary reaction where he punches you because he hates poor people. Like, that's the type of air he gives off. So he comes over and he reaches out and shakes her hand. He's like, hello, I'm Reginald, and my mother wants me to know what the normal class is like, so she's making me come here in the summer. And when you meet someone, just a general tip, saying that like, my mom wants me to know the lower class, so I'll hang out with you friends. It's just not a very good way of like, you know, making friends. So whatever, everybody's like, hey, nice to meet you, Reginald, because kids honestly aren't very rude at first. Like in retrospect, this kid was being a jerk, but you know, everybody's just talking to him. And one of the kids who's like hanging out in our little group, whose name was Freddie, and he was pretty cool, and he like really liked cars. He knew what the car was, so he's like, oh my god, is that a Rolls Royce? Like, that's so cool. Oh, is it awesome to ride in, you know? And this kid gets this, like, smirk on his face, and this is when everybody realizes that we're not gonna like this kid. He looks at Freddie in the face, who is complimenting his car and being like, wow, it's so cool, I bet you it's fun to ride, and he looks at him and goes, yeah, but you'll probably never be able to afford anything like that anyways, so it's not like it matters. Bro, at 11 years old, this man is claiming that Freddie's never gonna be able to afford anything. How in the world do you know what anyone's gonna do at 11? At 11, bro, everyone probably thought that I was gonna end up, like, filling gas in cars in New Jersey, and now I'm a YouTuber. Crazy stuff happens sometimes. I mean, I was eating glue. Like, I can't be surprised that people didn't expect much from me, but what I'm saying is, this homeboy telling an 11-year-old that he'll never afford a nice car is crazy. And it also shows what his parents are like, you know, like, now remember, son, when you meet poor people, you have to, make fun of them and tell them that their dreams are stupid, so that way they never get any ideas. And it wasn't even like we were in a poor neighborhood, you know? Like, Freddie did not strike me as a kid that was scrounging for table scraps. He just seemed like a normal kid. Oh, yes, you middle-class people are morons. Like, yeah, okay. Am I ever gonna own a Rolls Royce? No, it's cool. But if I'm complimenting your car and just being nice, you don't have to tell me that I'm poor back. Like, that's just a little unnecessary. So, Reginald, immediately is kind of on the crap list. Nobody really vibes with him because he's just kind of mean. And any time that he has any excuse to bring up the fact that he's better than us, he would. Like, the first day, again, we're eating lunch and he's just kind of standing in the corner by himself like a weirdo. Like, only weird people eat lunch in the corner, for sure. I used to. So he's standing in the corner eating lunch alone like a weirdo, and like he's just giving me dirty looks, which is weird. I haven't even said more than like hi to this kid, and he's just staring at me, giving me this death stare that's like, I don't know who you are, but I don't like you. It's not a fan of your face. I hope it gets hit by a car. Like, he's just giving me this dirty look, and he's in the corner by himself eating, so I'm just eating with my friends, and I'm giving him dirty looks back, because I'm not gonna lie, even 11-year-old me was like, I don't take no disrespect out here on the streets. It might have been a rec center summer camp, but that's as close to the streets as I ever got, so it was pretty serious to me. So I'm giving him dirty looks back, and one of the camp counselors, who's like 16, mind you, walks over to him and is like, oh, are you like eating lunch alone? That's so sad. Here, come with me. And walks him over to our table with like me and my summer camp friends, right? And is like, can he sit with you? And obviously, I'm not gonna tell this like camp counselor like, nah, man, this kid smells like ball sack and vinegar dressing. Like, of course, I'm gonna be like, yeah, sure, I'm 11. I don't really know a lot. Plus, sharing is caring or whatever. I think I remembered more Barney episodes when I was younger than I do now. So I'm sure some part of me was like just trying to be a little bit of a good person. So he sits down, and I think I was eating like some reheated pizza or something, which I will say, as Mac Miller once said, Kool-Aid and frozen pizza bangs. I warm mine up personally just because frozen pizza, I don't know, you get sick of it after a while. But I'm eating some pizza, and he looks at it, he's like, oh, is that American pizza? And he says it as if, you know, American pizza is disgusting, which, say what you want, but Americans know how to make fat, disgusting junk food, okay? You can diss Americans for being obese, that's cool, but Us Americans know how to make some pretty mean food, and Americanized pizza is good. Domino's bangs for a reason, you know? That's just the reality of the situation. So I'm like, yeah, it's American pizza. Because I'm 11, what other type of pizza would I have? Do you really think my parents are hopping on a private jet, flying to Italy, picking up a pizza for the boys to eat at, summer camp tomorrow? Of course it's American pizza. Where the hell would I get any other type of pizza? So I say, yes, it's American pizza. And he looks at me and is like, yeah, when I went to Italy, I had like real Italian pizza. And once you get used to that, this like disgusting cheap American stuff just isn't that good. We're at 10 minutes, so I'm gonna have to ask you nicely too. If you're enjoying the video so far, if you could press the like button and comment, like, I don't know, what you think of this douchey rich kid so far, I would really appreciate it. It just helps the video do better, and I'm really trying to hit like 2 mil subs on both channels, so if you could like and comment, I'd appreciate it. It just helps me do better. Which, first of all, Reginald, nobody cares that you went to Italy, bro. Good for you. Congratulations. What did you do? See some museums and stuff? That's great. Trust me, I want to go to Italy one day too, but I'm 11. Do you even fully appreciate Italy when you're 11? Like, your mom's like, oh my god, these stairs are 700 years old. You're like, well, I'm 10. I have no concept of time. I have no idea if that's a long time because I'm 10. That's 70 of me. Like, you can't understand, like, you can't understand it as good when you're 10, you know? So he's trying to flex on me and my American pizza, and I'm gonna say it. You know what? Apparently, Italian pizza's sauce isn't as sweet and their dough isn't as thick, so I'm gonna say it. I like American pizza, and if that makes me terrible, then guess what? At least I'm terrible in the best country on earth. USA! USA! So, whatever. Reginald is lecturing me about how apparently I'm a disgusting American for eating American pizza or whatever, and so even back then, my tolerance for bullcrap has never been extremely high, so I look at him while he's telling me about Italy, and I just go, can you shut up? And his face just like turns, he's like, what did you just say to me? You know, all snooty as if he's superior, and I'm like, can you shut up? And he's like, who do you think you are to talk to me this way? Which, listen, that might be a good line when you're like a 45-year-old and a 10-year-old tells you to shut up. But when you're both 10, who do you think you are is just a really crappy line because it's, I don't know, we're both kids and you're talking a lot, so I'm telling you to shut up. It's not that complicated. So he's being all sassy. He's like, I'm gonna tell on you, which, keep in mind, everybody running this summer camp is like 16 and doesn't care if you tell people to shut up. So I tell him, go for it, bro. I don't care. So he, does this like slither away. You know what he kind of reminds me of, honestly, in the way he moves and like the way he acted? The bad guy from the first Monsters, Inc., Randall, like the slithery little crap head that would change his color based upon what was going on. That's who he low-key acted like. And I'm just saying, if your nearest personality twin is a Disney villain that was like trying to kidnap a child, maybe you should rework your personality because it might not be that good. This kid never got the memo. So he goes up to these like people running the summer camp and he snitches on me, which, as I have said multiple times in my videos, in the infamous words of Little Skies, I ain't folding under pressure, I ain't switching for no hoe, I ain't talking to no cop, and I ain't telling on my bros. And sure enough, he snitches. He told on the bros, violated rule number 1, and he says that I told him to shut up. But as he's telling them that I told him to shut up, he starts crying. Keep in mind, listen, we're young, but like, bruh, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. How are you gonna call me a stupid fat American and then cry like a little baby whenever I tell you to shut up? I'm just saying, that seems a little BS to me. So he's crying. Then obviously every girl-like person in charge is now like, oh my god, look at this little kid crying, it's so sad. And I see him turn and point at me, like dead at me. And all the girls look all disappointed, and they come over to me. They're like, why would you tell him to shut up? He's new. That probably really hurt his feelings. So they tell me that I need to apologize because like it's against the rules to bully people and I have to be more considerate of other people's feelings. And I try to explain myself and go, well, he's making fun of us for being poor and eating American pizza. Like, I just told him to shut up because I don't care that he's been to Italy. I don't understand why that's mean. And I'm not going to apologize. And they're like, well, you need to apologize. And I put my foot down. I'm like, no, I don't care that this 16-year-old is bossing me around. I'm not even kidding. One of these girls that used to teach me has slid into my DMs since I became a YouTuber. So there's no way that I'm listening to them. Like, dog, you guys are not old enough compared to me to tell me what to do. So no, I'm not going to apologize. If this kid's being a jerk, he deserved to get told to shut up. So they basically are like, well, if you don't apologize, then we're calling your parents and you can't come back for 2 days because you're breaking the bullying rules. And I'm like, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do, because I'm not apologizing. And since then, I've learned something that you got to do in life sometimes. Sometimes it's easier to apologize, even if you're not in the wrong, to just like make life easier, okay? But I was not going to apologize to this kid for saying what I said, because honestly, I'd tell it again. If he somehow found this video, shut up. Again, don't, whatever you're saying. You're not even talking right now. You're watching this, but shut your mouth. So I don't apologize. He's still crying. They call my parents. They send my grandma to pick me up, and they're like, well, you have to spend the next 3 days at grandma's because, you know, we have nowhere else to send you, and like after that, you can go back to the summer camp thing. So I'm like, ugh, fine. So I'm at my grandma's house for 3 days, and the entire time I'm like plotting my revenge, bro. This kid that got me screwed. And I love my grandma, don't get me wrong. I really do love my grandma. But when you're 11, hanging out with like a 75-year-old German woman just is not always the vibe, dog. Like, she's asking me to play gin rummy. I don't even know how to read yet. Like, it's just not a vibe. So the entire time I'm just stewing. I'm like, stupid kid made me get in trouble. I didn't want to apologize. It's his fault. He was the one starting beef. Like, I'm annoyed this whole time, and you can't blame me. What do you want me to do? Like, obviously I'm gonna be annoyed at this guy who got me in trouble and kicked out of the place where I was having all this fun. So I talked to my grandma about it because we're eating lunch, and she asked me, she's like, what's bugging you? Because I'm picking out my sandwich. I'm all annoyed, and I basically tell her, I'm like, well, this is what happened. This kid, you know, was causing all these problems, so I told him to shut up, and I got in trouble. And she basically tells me, she's like, oh, well, if he's bullying you, then the only thing you can do is, like, you know, try to fight him. And I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound like very grandma-y advice, but I call her Oma. She's from Germany. She was born in Germany in 1939. Her first 6 years were in World War II, so she's just a little tougher than most. She has a different way of viewing things, and she's like, if this kid is gonna be like that and snitch and cry, then you might as well give him a reason to cry. And I'm like, okay. 11-year-old me, you know, is like, all right, look at my sage old wizard of a grandma giving me this valuable life advice, you know? And obviously, like, I don't advocate for fighting people. Don't ever do that. But if you really have a bully that won't leave you alone, sometimes the only way to take care of it is to roast them back. Like, if somebody, let's say you've got glasses, and somebody's always like, oh, 4 eyes, oh my god, 4 eyes, and they're being relentless and won't leave you alone and it bugs you, the best way to get them to leave you alone is to be like, yeah, I might have 4 eyes, but at least I know who my dad is, Billy, okay? I guarantee you, once you do that, they're dropping it. They're not gonna make fun of you anymore. So my grandma is like, yeah, if he's got a problem, then, you know, if he's gonna have a problem regardless, then you might as well give him something to have a problem about. And I'm like, yeah. So after 3 days of playing cards with my grandma, you know, I get sent back to camp, and I pull up ready to go. Like, you know that Kevin Hart joke where he goes to the teacher and he walks in all hyped because he gets to swear at the teacher? That's low-key how I'm feeling. I'm not going to swear, obviously, because Susan is watching this. Please don't demonetize me. Please, Susan. My kids are starving. I really need this. And my grandma was also the one to drop me off, and on the way there, dude, she's like playing hype up rap music, but she tells me, don't try to start a fight with him, but like, if he's gonna have a problem, then you do what you gotta do, and I'll come pick you up if there's a problem. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, 11-year-old me all hyped, you know, I'm like, doing push-ups on the field just to get a little pump on in case he wants to fight. And that day, like, the rec center has a pool attached, and it's a pool day, and pool days are the best because there was a water slide, and like 11-year-old me, you know, was amped. It's like, oh my god, it's a pool day. I'm gonna go down the water slide, and this kid's gonna catch my hands. Like, we got a multi-step day going on. Everything is fantastic. I really don't know how the sun cannot be shining this bright every day. This is what life was made to be. So I pull up to my crew, my little crew that I was hanging out with before, and they're like, yo, Ryan, we missed you. That Reginald kid is a pain in the butt. Like, he's just been making fun of everybody, but he always cries whenever you do anything back, and like, it's just been a pain. And I'm like, yeah, well, don't worry, bro, because if he starts anything today, papa, that's me fighting, by the way. Like, that's my fighting noises. So my friends are like, yo, that's sick. So it's pool day, like I said. So we hop in our swim trunks, we change in the bathroom. Not together, obviously, because that would be weird, but you're picking up what I'm putting down. So we change in the bathroom, and we go, and like, we're waiting in line for the slide. And Reginald happens to be like 2 spots in front of us. And the entire time, he's like loudly talking to his little group of friends about how, you know, some people just shouldn't be allowed back. As if I wasn't the only person that got sent home for a couple days. Like, he's obviously saying it loud just so I can hear it. And I'm just, keeping my mouth shut. I don't want to cause a problem. Obviously, I'd prefer to not get in trouble, but hey, Oma told me what Oma told me. If something goes down, I no disrespect on these streets. This is the closest thing to the streets that I have, okay? When I listen to Chief Keef, I think about 11-year-old me on a water slide. I don't think about running the streets. You gotta let me have this one. So whatever, we go down the water slide, I have my fun, and when I get to the bottom of the water slide, because I was like first in my group, before the rest of my group is there to back me up, him and his boys like start pressing me right in the pool underneath the water slide. Like they start pushing me and being like, what you gonna do about it? And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I start pushing them back, and obviously 2 11-year-olds like just pushing each other in the water with like their heads barely sticking up out of the water just looks ridiculous. So nobody really knows that there's like a little fight going on, but we're pushing each other back and forth. And my friend comes down, and it's the kid who can burp and fart on command, by the way. That's gonna be important. There's a reason I mentioned that earlier. So something you need to know about Reginald is because he's like raised by, I don't know, people that buy art or whatever, like he definitely has a weak stomach. He's very picky. He didn't have a very like tough childhood. His mom and dad never made him eat vegetables that were gross. He always had like, oh, my chef made creme brulee broccoli. Like I'm sure it was great in his house. Good for him. He had good food. So we noticed that he had a weak stomach, and my friend comes down and he sees us pushing, and he comes over and he start pushing. And at this point, Reginald is like, we're taking this out of the pool. And I'm like, all right, bet. So we climb out of the pool on this ladder, and we all take turns, by the way. We don't all climb up the ladder at once. We were gentlemen about the combat that was about to go down. And now I'm up in Reginald's face again. I'm pushing him. I'm like, what? And he's pushing me back, but we're both afraid to throw the first punch, like neither of us wants to be the person that gets in trouble for this. And my friend who can burp and fart on command is standing there, and Reginald looks at him and is like, oh, you had to bring your trashy backup to save you? Like, I don't know where this 10-year-old had learned all these words to call people trashy and stuff, but he calls my friend that can burp and fart on command trashy. He's like, oh, you had to bring your trashy friend with you? You couldn't take me by yourself? And at that point, I think my friend had had enough, and he turns around and just pulls down his pants and bare booty farts on Reginald, bro. Like, bare booty farts on Reginald. And Reginald, like, almost goes cross-eyed. And the next thing out of his mouth is just, and he starts gagging. And as he's gagging, he turns away from the butt that has just farted on him and vomits into the pool right at the bottom of the water slide. And to make matters worse, so it's just kind of like floating in the pool, somebody else comes down the slide, like right into the vomit, straight. Just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. I didn't know that it was possible to have such a weak stomach that somebody like farting can make you throw up. But he yaks into the pool, which, definitely does not pass the vibe check for most people, I'm assuming. I feel like a lot of people are not trying to swim with barf. The lifeguards blow the whistle. They have to shut down the pool. He's crying now after he's vomited. He had to hit the double whammy, Oh, I'm crying and I just vomited in the pool, and my friend is laughing hysterically on the ground because he just made this kid throw up with a fart. I'm laughing hysterically, like, on the floor because what am I supposed to do? How often am I going to see this? And his friends are even, like, trying to hold back their laughter, and he's just crying, oh my God, that's so disgusting, oh my God, freaking out that somebody farted on him, which, like, obviously, it's disgusting, I'm not going to lie, but considering homeboy was about to try to fight me, he really did defuse the situation in the most non-violent way possible. Like, realistically, breaking up a fight with a fart is kind of a heroic move, It's pretty impressive to have bowels that stinky. And we're only there for like 30 seconds before the people running the summer camp and the lifeguards that were like sometimes the same people come over and are like, what happened, and he's crying and he farted on me and I threw up. Like, just the little kids sobbing when they're trying to explain what just happened. And me and my friend are laughing. They're asking us what went down. And like I said, we're just laughing. We can't help it. Like, I don't know what you want me to explain. He told you what happened. So everybody's laughing hysterically. So they separate us and put us in like these little clear rooms that were, 10 feet apart, like almost like a bigger penalty box than the NHL. They had 3 of them. They were like clear conference rooms, and they put us each in one and were like, until you guys calm down and we get to the bottom of this, you guys are going to sit in here, no funny business. Like, I don't want to see any goofing off or talking to each other. Do you understand? And obviously me and my friend are smiling. We're like, yeah, sure. We won't talk. And we're all sitting here in like these glass rooms. And I look over and homeboy McDouche-a-lot, who has just barfed in the pool, is sitting there giving me a dirty look through the glass. And listen, you can give me a dirty look, man. I'm not the one who farted on you and made you throw up. It's not like it's my bad. And about an hour later, after sitting in timeout for an hour, like the director of the program, I had been escalated. This person was maybe 20, you know, not a 16-year-old. They come and get me, and they basically ask me to explain what happened. And I don't lie. I tell them the truth from the beginning. You know, I tell them about the shoving in the pool, and they're basically like, all right, well, Reginald has gotten his deposit back. His mom and dad don't want him to come here anymore because of the little stunt that you guys pulled. So he's not going to be here anymore. You just got back from suspension. I'm not going to suspend you again, because if you get suspended twice, you can't come back. So you and your friend just have to be sure to, like, not do anything like this again. No more fighting. And I didn't have beef with anybody except for Reginald. He was like the only person I beefed with. And I was like, yeah, all right, deal. And the rest of the summer, I didn't have issues with anybody because, surprisingly, if you're not calling me poor and stupid and telling my friends that their dreams are dumb, I don't have a giant reason to want to push you in the pool, and my friends don't have a reason to want to fart on you. So you're pretty safe. It's not like it was something that we were really going around doing on the daily in summer camp anyways. Even though if we did, that would definitely be another story time that would end up with me in prison. But on that note, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, you really should press the like button. This was a long video, a really long video, and it took a lot of time to make, so if you could press the like button, I'd appreciate it. Like, look, we're at 26 minutes of just recording. No editing, no retakes, just raw recording. So press the like button and comment. It really does help out the channel. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment Reginald down below, and let's see how many people actually made it to the end of this, because I highly doubt it's going to happen. Other than that, if you really want to support the channel, a link to the merch store will be down below, and you should definitely go check that out. It's pretty sick. New merch coming soon, too. Today's notification shout out goes to KS21. A big thank you for having on those notifications. If you want a notification shout out, turn it on, send a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby, and follow me on Twitter at Scrubby_69. On that note, guys, I'll see you guys next time with another video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And remember, don't be a douchey rich kid at summer camp that eventually barfs in a pool, because then you're just not a vibe and I'll make a video about you. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. And I hope everybody has a beautiful, beautiful quarantine. Happy May. Bye.